Hi everybody, welcome back. So yesterday I didn't quite get everything done. So we had a heat index of over 100, and after we got all the brush up and the saplings and everything, it's about time to call it a day. So today we're gonna cut down the rest of those pine trees, get the logs out, and then open that clearing back up for what's gonna be the front yard and the eventual concrete pad for the driveway. So before we get started today, we'll talk about a little bit about loader safety, especially for first time tractor owners. So we're going to be moving around heavy logs today, so we want to emphasize kind of the safety portion of that. So let's get started. All right, so when we talk about moving around heavy objects, one thing we got to take into consideration is not only your loader capacity of what you can carry, but also the terrain you're on and essentially weight and balance. So the Coyote CK boasts a pretty impressive, almost 1,900 pounds of loader lift capacity, which is pretty good for the size tractor, especially being compact 35 horsepower tractor. Can lift quite a bit. So when we talk about that 1,900 pounds, that's from back here on the pins. So we got to take into account not only what it is we're picking up, but also what we've got on front. So the root rack that I've got on here weighs about 400 pounds. So essentially you got to take the 400 pounds off of that. Now that's what you can be able to load and pick up and carry. So when we talk about like center of gravity, especially when you're dealing with uneven terrain. So like right now, we don't really have anything graded out. So we've got essentially some small stumps we might back over. We still got debris laying on the ground. We've got some holes that haven't been filled in quite yet. So a lot of stuff we got to work around. So you want to keep your weight as low as you can. So if I'm picking up big heavy logs, typically if I'm moving around, this is about as high as I want my loader to go. So if you start bringing your loader up higher, you're moving that center of gravity up higher, which is going to make it more apt to topple over, which we certainly don't want. And there's plenty of videos on YouTube of tractors and skid steers going up high with a bucket and then toppling over on uneven terrain. So something we don't want. Something else that we want to take into account with that as well is on the back. So we want to have some kind of counterweight. So yeah, this thing can pick up a lot of weight, but now we're talking about a lot of weight on the front. So we need to balance it out, kind of get that center of gravity back towards the center to the back end of the tractor. So if I'm doing logs or rock or anything really substantially heavy, I really like to have the backhoe on the back. So it shifts a lot of that weight to the rear. So we can use box blades, yard tools, rotary cutters, anything that's going to add weight to the back of the tractor. So the weighted tires do help out tremendously, that we talked about on the first video, but we still want some kind of counterbalance all the way in the back as well. So it does two parts too. So when you go to lift up a load, it's not going to raise your back tires off the ground if you do happen to pick up something that's too heavy, or you do bounce on even terrain. You don't want the tractor toppling forward and bouncing. So that's going to offset that. To go along with that is also the front axle, bearings and everything. So if we have an implement on the back and we've got a load on the front, it's going to shift that center of gravity a little bit more towards the rear tire, and we're not going to put as much force on the front axle and the tires. So that's going to help with the wear and tear of the equipment and save you some costs and maintenance in the long run. So today we're going to demonstrate some of that. So we mainly got logs that we're moving today. So we'll get up there, start with the logs, and see what all we can get done today. Alright, so we got a pretty sizable log here, a decent little size. So we're gonna, basically it's kind of hard to tell, but we'll kind of see if we can inch over here, zoom in. So we're just kind of getting that as level as we can to the ground. Once we get that level, then we're just gonna go on in with it, see if I can get a good bite on it. I got one that's a little stuck over here, so hopefully it'll break apart in the middle. If not, we'll get the chainsaw. And looks like we might have to get the chainsaw. Maybe. There it goes. Alright, so now I'm fixing to move it. Like we talked about earlier, I'm just going to keep that lower to the ground. That's a pretty heavy load. Especially when we're on uneven terrain, so like my back tire's lifting up on some stuff back here that I'm running over, so it helps to keep it down low. So when you're moving heavy stuff, slow is good. When you start going fast and get in a hurry, that's when you end up breaking stuff and having accidents. Once I get over to my pile, then I'll start raising it up because I'm in a nice level spot that I created. I go ahead and roll it towards the pile before I open my grapple. And then just let it kind of settle on top. Make sure it doesn't want to roll back towards my tractor. Then I'll bring my bucket back down. So we'll get in here and get the rest of this done and cut down these other half the trees after lunch, get them moved, and we'll call it a day. So we got all this cleared out of here, and it took us about an hour and a half, and that was with chainsawing down the trees, which is kind of nice. You can just drop them all one direction. But the coyote and the grapple definitely makes quick work of the cleanup. So after lunch, we'll come back, tackle that little section right there. Probably take us about another hour and a half, 2 hours, and then that's going to be it for the day. Then we come back. We're going to start on the heavy brush over there behind the tractor, kind of like we did over here before, and let you guys see how we got all that brush up and everything. We're also waiting on a piranha tooth bar to come in, which will be very convenient when we get back here into this heavy brush. So I saw some good demo videos on it, so I'm excited to get that in and try that out, see how it works as far as getting all this brush up. Remember, if you're liking the videos and you're learning some stuff, remember to like and subscribe. Y'all have a good day.